Vanakkam, Guru. Vanakkam, everyone. Vanakkam, namaste, namaskaram. Om Sai Ram to all. A warm welcome to each and every one of you on behalf of the Guardians of Dharma team, the team run in Johannesburg and Durban. We would like to welcome each and every one of you for joining us for our first Adi Masam discourse. We offer our humble pranams at the lotus feet of our Supreme, and we pray that this gathering will be spiritually uplifting to all of you. And it is with immense respect and gratitude that we welcome our esteemed guest speaker, Shri Guru Deena Governor, the resident priest of the Shri Adi Parashakti Tirukoval in Buccleuch, Johannesburg. Guru, we are truly blessed by your presence and your willingness to share your wisdom with us. Thank you for taking the time to share this discourse with us. We also extend our respectful greetings to our elders, devotees, spiritual leaders, members, and various teams and platforms, and everyone joining us through this live stream. Your participation is greatly appreciated. So the purpose of this platform is just to preserve, promote, and pass on the values of our culture and engage the youth more. So before we begin, I would like to encourage everyone to please participate in today's discourse. If you have any short questions relating to today's topic, please feel free to put them in the comment section, and then our team will do their best to collect and present your questions to Guru. And then if time permits, we will obviously get to answer all these questions, and we encourage all our devotees, especially the youth, to engage with today's discussion and make the most out of it. So with kind adieu, I would like to hand over to Guru, and we kindly request everyone to maintain a respectful atmosphere throughout the live stream. Listen with an open heart, reflect upon the teachings being shared, and engage positively. Gurukul, we welcome you and respectfully hand over the platform to you.
Vanakkam, Namaste, Namaskaram to one and all. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. எல்லார் சந்தையில் விளையாடுகின்ற சுந்தரா கணேச குருவே, வினையெல்லாம் தீர்க்கும் விநாயகனே, எல்லாம் வழிகளில் துணை புரிந்து நல்லங்கறிவு வீர உணர்ச்சியன், சித்தி புத்தி கதுவை திறப்பாய், சித்தி என் தாதனனே போற்று. My humble pranams to the originators of the group, to all the executives. Thank you very much for this platform. And it is such a privilege to have this opportunity to speak on this very auspicious and holy month of Adi. We look at Adi and we need to understand the concept of this month. It is in the Panchangam, the 4th month of the Tamil months of the year, and essentially this month, Adi, is a month of dedication to the divine Mother Mariamman, who is a manifestation of the divine energy of Shakti, Adi Parashakti. And as we know in this time and age, the concept of the divine energy of Shakti is so important and so relevant in this Kali Yuga. And when we speak about this divine month, it is sacred. It is said that in this divine month, the mother manifested as Mariamman, who is essentially the one that has come to protect, to heal, and to bring prosperity upon this earth. Mari in itself means rain. Amman reference to the Divine Mother. So essentially the mother is referred to as the divine goddess of rain. When we speak about rain itself, rain has no barriers. It is much needed throughout the world by all nations, all nationalities, all countries. And the advent of the mother coming on this earth, or coming to us to give us an inspiration, was the mother came to save the world. And the world was such that people were infected with various viruses, with various diseases, with various sicknesses and ailments. And hence, when the mother manifested as Mariamman, she came down as rain. And this rain was an healing effect that caused the world or the entire nations to be healed. And from that, the mother manifested in a divine place called Samayapuram, which is where many of us have actually visited. And this is where the mother was sighted. She states in a divine தாலாட்டு, நாம் இங்கும் எங்கும் நிறைந்தவரே, நான் எல்லாருக்கும் தாயாரே. She is the mother for all. Irrespective of whichever belief we fall under, she is the mother for all. And it is important for us to remember that this divine auspicious month is a reminder to each and every one of us to offer our thanks, our appreciation, our gratitude to the Divine Mother. As much as the Divine Mother is referred to as a village goddess, and specifically referring to her as a Grama Devi, one must take it in the context of when this was interpreted. However, in this time of Kali Yugam, which is now in the process of over 5,000 years from civilization, it is to be understood that the mother is seen in more places now throughout the world. Powerful economies where the mother is worshipped. Like if I take, for instance, if you take a very simple, we come to South Africa itself, the mother is worshipped in two important pivotal points of KZN. One being the Isipingo Mariamman temple, and the second being the Mount Edgecombe Mariamman temple. From there has been a widespread of devotion to the mother, and here in particular in Gauteng we have the Marabat Stud Mariamman temple, which dates back to over 160 years. And thereafter we take into consideration how the devotion of the mother has spread. I recently watched a beautiful offering of the mother in Texas. The mother is worshipped in Australia. The mother is worshipped in New Zealand. The mother is worshipped in India, our motherland. The mother is worshipped in Canada. The mother is worshipped in London. So the concept of the Divine Mother Mariamman as manifested amongst the devotees, and in particular to the South African Hindu community, the mother has great amount of significance, especially in this month of Adi, where through the grace of the mother, we have been blessed through the wisdom of our ancestors that gave us this initial concept. And to be precise, if we look at the worldwide statistics of the worship of Mother Mariamman, it is huge, massive. Throughout the world, people worship the Divine Mother, especially during this month of Adi. This is the most significant time of realizing the manifestation of the Mother in this divine month. And when this Mother set foot on this earth, she came to heal, to protect, to ensure that we are prosperous in life. There are various rituals that we perform during this month, and perhaps at a later stage during this platform, we will be able to discuss some of this in detail. But essentially, this month is a dedication to the Mother Mariamman, and as I said earlier on, rain is a concept that is so needed in this entire world. You find in remote parts of the world, people pray for rain. And we as Hindus have been blessed through this Divine Mother that has given us this divine gift of rain and saved the world from total disaster. We must always remember that we must take everything that has been mentioned and the history of this particular deity itself and bring it into the context of the current civilization. Today, there is a scarcity of water throughout the world, and in particular in our country, South Africa. We as Hindus have this very beautiful concept of the worship of the elements. And one of the elements is rain. And Mari Amman plays such an important role. She is referred to as Muttu Mari Amman. And each drop of rain is referred to as a pearl. Because when the need arises for this precious gift to fall on the land, it is so important to remember that this rain manifests so many different aspects in this world. It creates or it brings about life. It gives value or adds to the vegetation of this world. It provides nourishment for human beings, animals, insects, birds, and you can go on. Through rain, we are able to go through various aspects. Industry, commerce, etc. are able to function properly. And rain as well is such an important element through which we are able to go through in life and be able to sustain ourselves. Water is an important commodity in this entire world. And throughout the world, we all know that every part of the world seeks water. And the source of water that comes onto this earth is rain. So we can imagine how important this mother is, and we as Hindus have taken this to such a spiritual and divine level that we take the mother and we worship her during this sacred month, because we know that the mother has provided so much for us. She says, Nam ingum yengum nirendavare, nan ellarukkum tayare. I am here, there and everywhere, mother for everyone. And it is so important to remember that in the concept of Kali Yuga, we do not only identify the mother, because the mother being specifically relative only to Hindus, she is universal. She is a concept that so many other different nationalities are becoming to find her to be a unique and a most mysterious energy. During this time, or during this month of Adi, various temples, and initially when the concept of worship started, it started in a gramam. A gramam meaning people got together as a community and started worshipping the mother as Gramadevi. And Gramadevi was to protect the entire district, the entire area from all fatalities, all accidents, all tragedies, all diseases, all sicknesses, etc. And people came together as a collective and worshipped the mother with so much of bhakti that even whatever they could afford, and we must understand the concept that many of our ancestors that came to this country came for the purpose of agriculture or farming. Many took that to many different levels and became very wealthy in that field. And they always paid homage to the Divine Mother Mariamman during this month to say, thank you, Mother. Thank you for the blessings Thank you for the prosperity. Thank you for keeping us healthy. Thank you for keeping us together as a family. That is why we observe this prayer in this month of Adi as a family unit, showing our thanks and appreciation to the Divine Mother. She beautifully portrays in the Mariamman Thalattu, ஆற்றல் மணல் எடுத்து அருணாரி ஒன்று பண்ணாய், சேது மனம் எடுத்து சிவனாடு ஒன்று பண்ணாய். She took the very bare dust and the bacteria of this world and she blew a divine breath and created the 5 elements. And this concept gives us what life is all about. In today's world, if we take again the concept of the symbolism of Mariamman, which is reference to the rain or water, we are all conceived in a bag of water for a period of 9 months. This conceivement is so sacred and so important. And every one of us have ancestral legion to us having some connection to the Divine Mother. If I take it in a very simple sense, if, for instance, when we were younger, we had a very high temperature, our mothers would turn a simple sumbu or lota of turmeric water with reverence and devotion, and within a few hours or minutes, that temperature will come down. Even by placing the sacred neem or syringa leaf over our body, we were instantly cured of all ailments, diseases, viral infections. And if you take it in another sense, the Divine Mother Mariamman is closely associated with the syringa leaf. And today, the term given to medicinal value of this is neem leaves. And it is being used in all kinds of homeopathic medicinal use. And it has become so powerful. Even the concept of turmeric, which is greatly associated with the Divine Mother Mariamman, has become so important and so valuable in the health of human beings. So the divine concept of Mother Mariamman boils down to us understanding that she stands very beautifully with great amount of love for her devotees. And having love for us, she protects us. She guards us against all the adversities of Kali Yuga. And this Kali Yuga indeed has become very difficult. And it relates to the time when the mother was needed. And when she manifested in Samayapuram to bring back reality, to bring back life to humanity, and to give to the world a very important message. That is when she stood in Samayapuram, and when everybody referred to who is this Mariatta, who is this divine aunt, who is divine mother, and that is when she related to everyone, her manifest as the Shakti and came in the form of Mari. So we must always remember that as much as this is a very ancient practice, but the relevance of it in this particular time is so important that we must look at it from a concept of what is happening in Kali Yuga and how it relates to us. We are all going to be observing this divine month. And I feel so touched and so, joyful in my heart that the mother is being welcomed in so many places throughout the world. In South Africa, it is unbelievable the number of Tiruvirar, the number of festivals, the number of Grama Devi prayers being held in large temples, even small temples dedicated to the mother. I get such beautiful messages from people from throughout the world sending me beautiful and very humble offerings of them observing this divine prayer in their home. Some through difficulties, obviously being in very different countries, it is difficult to obtain certain things, to be able to offer the prayer itself, but they do it with such great amount of reverence. It really touches my heart, because that is what Mother and Mother Mariamman is all about. She had such a large heart. Even through the karmic action of human beings, she still forgave, and she still healed, and she still brought life back to us. So wherever we are today in this world, and however we have evolved, and wherever we have actually moved on to, the seed of the Divine Mother will always remain through our ancestors that had such great wisdom in cementing the faith and belief in the Mother. And there are various temples that represent this, and I spoke about two in particular, one being the Isapingo Mariamman temple and the other being the Mount Echkom Mariamman temple. And here the Mother, a devotion was felt, a faith was revealed, people were healed, people that went to her seeking wishes in life prospered. Today they have evolved into great personalities in the world. Some have become great leaders in our community. Some are such great professionals. Some are leading doctors. Many have traveled the world, heading up great corporates. It is through this divine seed that has been planted by our ancestors here, in particular in South Africa, that has created this widespread devotion and love to the Mother. And we should never forget this, because that is what reminds us of how sacred and auspicious this month of Adi is to every one of us. And in particular as well, the Mother has got no specific linguistic grouping. You found people from all linguistic groups going through and worshipping the Mother because they found relief in the Mother. They found energy in the Mother. They found her protection to be so powerful. And they revered her with such great amount of reverence and respect. And during this month of Adi, it is so important for us to remember that it is a month of thanksgiving to the Mother. However little we have achieved in life, we must thank the Mother. She has ensured that our lives have become so successful, so prosperous, and so fulfilling. She has ensured that our families are so well together. We are so united together. We are so loving together. And she has ensured in our lives as well, we all living so healthily. We've all had this great scare not so long ago, a couple years ago, when we were going through the period of COVID. And one of the most important concepts of the COVID pandemic taught human beings a lesson that the mother in herself came and manifested, that one of the most important things was to wash your hands. Here again, the concept of water became such an important part of the world. And today, when we speak about Mother Mariamman, again we must understand that as much as it is relevant or has significance that dates back even prior to the Vedas, the mother and her divine teachings are still so relevant in this Kali Yuga, which is a period of civilization. So I pray that during this month of Adi, that wherever we go, and especially in this time, let us all rally and go to temples, go to places, go to homes that are observing this prayer, and respectfully go there with the intention of praying and receiving the mother's blessing. The more blessing we receive, the more in life we prosper. And as the mother says again in a holy thala to Ninaitorukkum Devam, that just the thought of the divine name of the mother is able to dispel all forms of negativity, is able to bring great amount of us feeling in life inspired, not feeling isolated, not feeling lonely. This month also reminds us importantly that every aspect of life, especially the concept of Annadanam, which is food charity, is an important concept of every Hindu. That you will notice in this time that we share the prasadam, the divine food of the mother, amongst everyone. And it has no religious barriers, because if we take it in simple understanding, we as Hindus call it prasad. If we take our Muslim brothers and sisters, they refer to the prayed food as halal. We take our Christian brothers and sisters, they offer grace. So when we pray, we in turn invite the divine energy of the divinity into the food, and it is called prasadam. This prasadam must be shared amongst everyone, because it's the mother's holy prasadam. And again, we can always say, but we are offering these things in front, or these items in front of the mother. And is the mother partaking in it? No. We partake in it, because we offer to the mother to say, thank you, mother, and infuse your divine energy, your divine blessings into this. And when we take this into, or we consume it, we take it as prasadam. And every aspect of this divine offering of the mother must be respected to the utmost, because this prasadam heals, it transforms, it brings good prosperity, it brings an awareness, and it brings so many different fascinating revelations to those that believe in the mother. Again, this divine concept must be brought back to the relevant time of Kali Yuga. And I specify this because I tend to always remind devotees that the concept of Mariamman is too much emphasized in the sense that it was done or observed or started centuries ago. And today the debate is the mother relevant? Is the month of Adi relevant? It is stated. It is an important moment. It's an important time for us to remember the Mother Mariamman. Because there is nobody in this world that can claim that they do not need the blessings of the Mother, because her blessing is rain. A form is rain. A manifestation is rain. Nobody in this world again can state that I do not need healing. Nobody in this world again can state I do not need to prosper in life. So the mother moves beyond all this. She doesn't look at who we are, our statuses, etc. For as long as we kneel down, we bow down to the mother. She says again in Holy Thada to Vananguginra makkalikku valvu miga valvu valippai. Those that surrender at my lotus feet, I will protect and keep you at all times, close to my heart. And I know I am sharing this sentiment on behalf of many, many devotees that love the mother so much. And I've seen outpourings of love during this time of Adi that is so amazing that even when I first arrived here in Johannesburg and looked at the concept of Mariamman worship, and as we know, the common prasadam that is offered to the mother is the kool or the porridge or the sour porridge. Here when I first came, it was called Transvaal. They used to offer it or called it kanji. And something awakened in me that I needed to do something to make this or change this concept so that people start understanding the mother more greatly and start worshipping the mother more with greater amount of devotion, and also worship the mother with greater amount of understanding. Because there's two aspects in life. If it is important to understand, prayer is very sacred and important, rituals are important, but together with that, we must be able to have an understanding of why we do certain things. I hope and pray that in this very important message and introduction that I have given, with reference to the month of Adi and in connection to the Divine Mother Mariamman, I have given you some enlightenment in this, and I hope that you will be able to digest this. And if you have any questions that you'd like to perhaps ask, you're more than welcome, and that would be very interesting to continue the conversation. So I'm going to now hand you over back to the administrator who will give us further feedback. Mikka nandri. Om Mahamariyaman Shaktitaye Namaha.
Thank you so much, Guru, for that. I'm just going to hand over to one of our other admins because there is some questions for you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Vanakkam Guru. Thank you for that discourse.
Vanakkam.
We have a question from Shivar, and he would like to know what goes into the Gargam pot.
No problem. Garagam, in essence, is a reference to the Divine Mother, and it is the crown of the Mother. What goes into the pot is a sacred offering of Abhishekam mixture, because when the Garagam is dismantled, that entire contents of the pot is offered on a murti of the Mother. And we know very importantly in our Hindu religion that Abhishekam to the Mother is very sacred. So by carrying it on our head, which is placing that Gargam on the top or on the tip of our head itself, represents how honored we are to worship the Mother and place her on the apex of our body, to say, Mother, you are the crown of everything in my life. So the contents of the Abhishekam pot, in very simple understanding, is a mixture of Abhishekam items, or you will find now in today's times, a lot of people will do manjal, neeram to the Mother, offering of manjal and rose water together. Or some will also offer the juice of neem leaves to the Mother mixed with rose water. So that is basically what the contents of a Gargam should be.
Guru, I'm not sure if you do want to carry on with a bit more insights. You can go deeper because we don't have questions as yet.
No problem. Again, during this festival, the Gargam is an important symbol that is carried during festivals, during observances of Grama Devi festivals. And these are normally observed in larger temples where more devotees can be accommodated, and this can occur with the ability of devotees being offered the opportunity to carry the Gargam of the Divine Mother. Again, the Gargam is a symbol of honor. We all honor the Mother in everything that we do. And that Gargam is that symbol saying, Mother, at this point in time, I am so grateful to the many divine virtues that you have blessed me. And we start with simple things. If we take wisdom, intelligence, we take the concept of the Mother blessing us with education, and to the level where we are today, you will find the Garagam is a symbol of that honor, to say, Mother, thank you for all that you have given me, and I place you at the apex of my entire body to give you honor, to allow my life to be controlled by your divine energy, and also to ensure the Garagam again is beautifully decorated. Decorations can vary from various devotees, and it is the love that we have for the Mother that is displayed in that Gargam. And I see this in many temples and many Tiruvirar throughout South Africa. And I feel so proud that this happens, because so many devotees take such great amount of pride, such amount of love, such amount of dedication in just preparing that Gargam. And only until that prayer occurs and they are able to pick that Gargam and place it on their head, they now look at that concept and say, Mother, I have now taken this moment to ensure that I have given you all the honor, I've given you all the beauty, I've given you all the alangaram, and I place you on the top of my head to show that you are the most honored energy, the most honored divinity that I have in my life. And I know that you are the one that is the controller of all aspects. I surrender and thank you.
We have a question from Pri, who is asking to please elaborate on what someone can do to get closer to our divine Shakti. We also have one asking you to elaborate on fire walking.
Let us talk about the first question. How does one get closer to the mother? You see, the concept of mother worship is with reverence. If we take the initial understanding of the origination of Mother Mariamman, when she stepped foot on this earth, she saw no barrier, she saw no boundary, she saw no religious belief, she saw no race, no color, no creed, nothing. She came to save everyone. And the greatest understanding of mother worship is to know that every single human being is a child of the mother. So, in order to get closer to the mother, the first thing we need to do is to see the mother in every human being. Because every human being is a creation of the divine mother itself. So we must see love, we must see respect, we must be able to do those beautiful aspects amongst ourselves first. See the mother in everyone. And when we see the mother in everyone, we become closer to the mother. I know today in this Kali Yuga, we have many differences. There's lots of aspects, lots of negativity, lots of people feeling hatred, jealousy. There's a lot of competition, etc. But the common essence of mother worship is to love everyone. Because like a mother, irrespective of that person or that little child being her very own flesh and blood, she will make sure that that child is nourished and taken care of. That is the love of a mother. So, in the same essence, when we are devotees of the mother, we must love everyone. Whoever comes. I have this very beautiful example that I use in many of my messages to my congregation. I have a group of young devotees that came from Thailand to South Africa, and they came for work purpose, etc. And unfortunately, when they landed here, they started work and did whatever is necessary, but they needed to find something. And when I say they needed to find something, they needed to find their goddess. Now imagine people of a different faith looking and specifically came to our temple to say to me, Guru, I'm looking to worship the Mother Mari Amman. And it is unique because they had experiences because they belonged to some another race. They were turned away from certain temples. And when they landed at the feet of our mother at our temple, I believe very importantly that the mother accepts everyone. So if you want to get closer to the mother, see the mother in everyone. Love everyone first. That is the closeness, that is the closest you will get to the mother. The next question was, if you can just remind me of that question, please. Okay, let's go on to the first part of the first question, which was regarding fire walking. Mariam and fire walking is observed very commonly in South Africa. And I say that with great reverence because it is a 10-day festival that is observed by many temples. It is a version of the devotion of a devotee that performs this Thimedi. Thimedi is the sacred fire walking. Obviously, it's a 10-day festival, so devotees go to the temple daily, take part in the prayer, and eventually they prepare themselves mentally. During that 10 days, it's a mental preparation to walk on these embers. This is a sacred ritual, especially amongst us Hindus. And I know today in this world, it is, if we look at it in the Western world, it's also used in various aspects of team building, self-discipline, etc. But in the Hindu philosophy, it is a very sacred ritual and festival. So fire walking, yes, is performed also during this month of Adi in reverence to the mother, Mariamman. Then there is also the aspect of fire walking being observed to the Divine Mother Draupadi, which is an 18-day festival, and many temples also observe that. And in particular, if we take the Second River Temple in KZN that observes this sacred festival, and various other festivals like Jacob's Road Temple, very old pioneer temples that observe such beautiful festivals, Tiruvizha. And I've seen over the years the way these festivals have evolved, and especially the participation of youth, because it actually swells my heart to know that here is the opportunity. Yes, it may sometimes seem and be perceived in social media, on social platforms, etc., that there is different concepts of what people do, etc. That is not necessary. We must always encourage the youth, irrespective of the ill disciplines, etc., to continue and encourage them and inspire them to be able to go through these processes, because there is an important seed that was planted by our ancestors. This is what gives us a identity as a Hindu. Then we look at the other concepts that we speak about, especially during fire walking. It requires discipline, commitment, sacrifice. And I think that would be a topic for another discussion. However, remember, it is important for us to always regard these festivals with great reverence and respect. If I may just ask the next question, please.
Subhashan had asked how many times can Gargam be carried?
We look at it in the context of how many times in our life have we been blessed? How many times is it necessary to thank the mother? How many times do we have to pay penance to the mother? There's plentiful times. But do we have the opportunity sometimes? No, because we live in a world that is, especially here in South Africa, it is so difficult. We cannot, sometimes if a temple is observing festival, we probably are working, we cannot get off from work, etc. So we can carry Garagam for the mother any part of the year in any specific festival that is observed in a temple. We can carry Garagam as many times as we want to, because how many times do we really need to thank the mother? Is the year enough to say thank you to the mother? So honoring the mother is, there should be no such thing. And I always emphasize this to my congregation in particular, and I say to them, we all tend to look at this and say, I must carry Gargam 3 years, I must carry Gargam 7 years, I must carry Gargam 5 years. No. You carry Gargam based on your circumstances. You honor the mother. This year maybe something happened, you cannot do it. And if you have been carrying Gargam for 1 year, the second year now you can't do it. Do the carrying or do reference to the mother according to how you wish to do it so. So if you feel you want to carry Gargam throughout the year, there is nothing that stops you from doing that. It makes you feel more inspired. It uplifts your life much more better. And do remember, in that time that you are carrying the Gargam, your mind becomes so disciplined. And in time, you will find that that corrects a lot of the adversities we go through in life. So it's so important to remember there should not be any restriction, and there should not be any time limit or time frames on the number of times you wish to carry Gargam. If you love the mother, you can carry Gargam whenever the mother's time is there. And you love the mother, you want to carry Gargam, that should be your own personal offering to the mother. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We don't have any more questions at the moment, so you can continue if you'd like.
No problem. When we look at the concept of Mariamman, the elements play an important part. The elements meaning, if we take the most simple offering to the mother, which is the offering of the porridge. The porridge originates from what is called corn. And if we look at the way this is actually planted, the sun plays such an important role in ensuring this seed that was planted grows and produces the corn itself. Again, that is crushed, again, that is made into what is called maize meal or mini meal. The mini meal is a sacred offering where, if we observing this prayer in our home or in temples, we do what is called a period of fermentation. This is normally observed in temples over a period of 7 days, 5 days, 9 days, etc. This is to infuse the divine energy of Panchacharam, which is Namah Shivaya, which is the healing force. If we take Vibhuti, and why Mother gave us Vibhuti itself, it is to heal. So when we place Vibhuti on our forehead, which is the apex of the human body, It is proudly placed on our forehead, and it is a symbol of honor. It is a symbol of healing. So the sacred moment of the soaking of the mini meal is so important that it's done prior to that. And then the family, the temple that observing, etc., will observe a period of fast until the prayer is observed and the thanksgiving is offered to the mother. Also, in this period, we must all remember the product of mini meal is one which is so important because it is regarded as a food of nourishment. Today, if you look at the mini meal itself, it is made into various divine or various types of products. And this is nourishment for various people throughout the world. And particularly in our country, we find that large communities of our population use this for sustenance, for energy, for strength, for ensuring that babies are nourished, etc. So this mini meal is very sacred, and it is used in the fermentation process. And when that porridge or the kool is offered to the mother, it is offered to receive her divine blessings over it, and those that partake of it are able to heal their body, are able to nourish themselves, are able to remove negativity, are able to remove viral infections from their body because of the infusion of the Divine Mother's force in that sacred porridge. Thank you.
We have a question. Could you please elaborate more on women observing prayers during their menstrual cycle?
Yes, it is an important question to understand, and the first part that I always make mention, we must remember it is personal. When we understand what it means personal, it means very simply, it is a very private matter between that person that's going through that process and the Divine Mother. In today's world, we must look at it in a relative sense of Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga is the divine energy and form of the mother. So this period that a female goes through is a sacred period. It is an important period of privacy that allows their body to remove negative energy or remove negativity through the period of the cycle and be able to instill and equip themselves to become more with divine and positive energy, to renew themselves. So there is a short period of time that they go through that, and they equip themselves during that period. Now, I know in today's world there is a lot of misconception. People say people are not well, not clean, etc. I say it very simply that it is a very personal, it's a very private matter, and that should be respected by everyone. We should not in any way refer to it as a period or a time where we, and many of us tend to use the word unclean. We're all clean. And that is as simple as it is. Let us refer to that period as personal and private. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no further questions as yet. Can you please continue?
Okay, Guru. Just also when you elaborated more about the menstruation in females, could you also go deeper into if, because there's a lot of people that say, no, you're not allowed to go to temple, you're not allowed to do prayers, things like that. So could you just maybe go more deeper in that? Because we've got a lot of questions regarding that.
Okay. If we look at the concept of this, it was referred to as a period of rest. Remember, in the very ancient times, men, women worked, they toiled, right? And women worked at home to make sure that their families were taken care of, etc. So, if we take it in the context of a 30-day period, it is an important time for them to take. So, the Divine Mother ensured that this process of a woman's privacy was respected and they were left to remain at home, because it is important to understand that this concept, when we looked at it from the very ancient days, it became a concept where people felt that women were restricted from praying, etc. When we look at temples, temples are a different environment. It is a sacred environment. So when we go to the temple, it's important for us to have a bath, wash our feet, dress up neatly, cleanly, etc. So we will not engage in any other activity. We go to the temple. So in the same sense, when a woman goes through this period, it is a time that we normally call a period of rest that she takes to re-energize herself. And when she is re-energized, because at that point in time she is at the weakest and so vulnerable, and there is a lot of energy that needs to be, negative energy that needs to be taken out of this entire body. And during that period, that rest is very important for them to regain their strength and their energy. And we must not look at it in the sense that they are told not to go to a temple. I think they understand that in their own capacity. We do not need to remind them. It is their personal and private matter that should be respected by whoever it is. And it does not mean that a woman can't pray. We all sit and pray. We don't have to be in the presence or in a temple itself to pray. We can pray anywhere. So even if they are sitting at home, they pray. Even whilst they are resting, they can pray. They can do various things in which they would like to do. But in this time, it is a time that we respect, and we respect their privacy. And it is so important for us to understand that in that context, not to go further and taint or say that women are not well, not clean, etc. So they're not allowed to go to the temple itself.
We have a question from Pri, who asked, please explain the sound of the woodaka in relation to the mother.
The sound of the woodaka that is referred to during prayer time is a sound that invites the divine energy of the Shakti, and it is played to certain beats, etc. And there are certain beautiful padigams recited from the talat that enables the person that's doing the praising of the mother to invite the mother's energy into that particular environment. The Pamba is, again, and I go back to our ancestors, there are such great individuals that brought this to this particular country. And you find today in this particular Kali Yugam now, a lot of youth have started taking upon the opportunity to play instruments, especially the pamba, the woodaka, the silambu. These are divine symbols of the mother that invites her energy into the environment. And it is so, we should feel so proud in this time, even though you find certain individuals may not be able to pray it to perfection, but the ability to encourage the youth, especially in this time, to play these instruments is so important, because it preserves the tradition of our ancestors and what is so important in inviting the energy of the mother. So when we play, when the beats on the pambe is played, it is the way the mother comes and dances in that very environment. And you find some people become so ecstatic and so they become so highly charged, especially those reciting these divine verses from the Talatu, and they inspire the energy of the mother to come into that environment. So yes, it's an important symbol, it's an important moment to respect and to invite the mother into that environment. Those are the symbols that we use to invite the Divine Mother.
We have a question from Ryan, who is asking, why do some families sacrifice for Mother Mariamman while others don't?
A very beautiful question again. We look at the origination again to understand this concept. We must understand that in the time that we're speaking about, when the mother appeared on this earth, when the mother appeared in Samayapuram, people were ecstatic. When she proved a miracle to the world, people were ecstatic. And what was the way people lived, or how did people live? Many lived based on how they actually worked in life. Many were farmers, came from agriculture, and essentially they were so ecstatic that the mother healed them, that whoever it was, whether it was a vegetable farmer, it was a poultry farmer, it was a farmer with livestock, etc., they shared whatever was necessary to offer to the mother, and they thanked the mother in that way. Now, when we look at it in the concept of today's world, many have this perception that there are certain things that should not be done, etc. I do not want to touch on that particular part of it. I want to basically explain that every person has a seed of ancestral root planted in them. When our forefathers came to this country, you will find that whether we are Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, etc., there is an important seed that was planted, especially during the time of Pudiya Vellikizhami, New Friday, or as it is known today in the world of Good Friday, where our great grannies went to the most divine temple that we have in KZN, Isapingo, and the Mount H. Mariamman temple. Some offered their prayer sattvic, and some offered their prayer with sacrifice. Now, if we do not understand this topic, which is a very controversial topic, then it is very difficult for everyone to understand it, or it is very difficult to explain it to everyone. We must understand something first and be able to just say, we just can't say that because people now are doing sacrifice, their prayer is not nice, it's not good, it's very unclean, etc. We are no judges. The mother is the ultimate judge. How people offer and how people actually do their thanksgiving is their personal belief, and it has great ancestral value. So it's important to respect that and to ensure. So you can do prayer to the mother based on how the traditional values of your family started. And many do it in that sense of doing it vegetarian, and there are many that do it in the sense of doing sacrifice. I don't want to start that topic currently now, but I'd rather leave it for another platform at a later stage. But the worship of the mother is done based on a lot of ancestral traditions and values. And we must understand that when it started, it built families, it built generations of individuals. I'm probably a fifth or sixth generation of my family unit. And as much as whatever has been observed in my family legion or family tradition, it is important for me to follow that, because mother worship is a very ancient form of worship, and that was one of the most important worships that were brought to this particular country. And symbolically it is shown in the historical values that these respective temples bring about and brought about in keeping our communities together. So yes, people do sacrifice. Yes, some people don't sacrifice. But we should not be in a position to condemn, criticize, or judge anybody, because we do our prayer according to the way we wish to do it. Someone else does prayer according to the way they wish to do it. Respect it. That is important.
We have a question. If you can please explain whether trance is hereditary or if one is just chosen, and if you could please briefly touch on the Mariamman Thalatam.
Trance is a concept or is a level of devotion. It is a sacred period of a relationship of a devotee with the Divine Mother. It is important to understand that in those times it is referred to and even in these times as well, it's referred to as what is called Aruvaku. Aruvaku is the mother transcending in the energy form into a particular person and them coming and relating certain important aspects to ensure the upliftment and development of a person. And there were great individuals from our ancestors that were very powerful in this, in the way they received the divine energy of the mother and in the way they brought it out in the form of Aruvak to be able to give this to and help our community in ensuring that people were healed from sickness, people were healed from problems in life, people were given opportunities to have certain good moments in their life and prosperity, etc. Now, in the younger generation, today you find lots of people being inspired by the mother and they go through this period of a vibration, etc. And I'm not here to speak specifically on what happens. I'm here to speak about inspiring them. So if somebody is touched by their mother and they feel that they have this divine vibration, we also tend to look at it from a different perspective, because then we become judges and juries accordingly on this. It's important to remember we cannot and we should not in any way discourage people, discourage them from having a relationship with the Divine Mother. It's their experience, it's their personal journey that they are going through in life to ensure that they are able to feel the divine energy of the Mother. So trance is a step on the rung of the ladder of devotion, and there are many levels of devotion that we go through, and we can perform various sadhanas. Besides trance, there is meditation, there is seva, there is so many different concepts that we can actually engage in to be inspired by the Mother. Sorry, the next question was?
If you could please touch on the Mariamman Talat.
The Mariamman Talat is one of the most sacred texts that describes the divine message of the Divine Mother Mariamman. This beautiful booklet of verses, and it was referred to as a lullaby, a beautiful song and praise of the Mother. But essentially, if you go through the various parts of the Mariamman Talat, it outlines the concept of how the Mother instructed the world to do what was necessary. So this was inspired by a very divine worship of the Mother, Semittakini Rishi, and this gave the world a text. Now, and I'm bringing again this to home itself in South Africa. The Mariamman Talat too was one of the most divine sacred texts that were brought by our forefathers. Remember, they just gathered what was necessary to come, and one of the most important booklets that came to this country was the Mariamman Talat. And there were many that actually recited this. This recital was so effective that it healed. It healed people by just sitting and listening to the divine virtues of the Mother. So in this, there's various parts of the Mariamman Talat that describes, like in the first part of the Mariamman Talat, she says, Mayi Madamayi Mani Mandira Segariye Ayi Umayanavane Adi Shivan Deviyare. You see, the Mother is referred to as the Mother of all mysteries. What is not mysterious about the concept of rain, the symbol of rain? So when we try to place our hands out there when it rains to collect a drop of the rain, it is highly impossible. But that drop of rain can create so much of life on this earth. It gives life to a seed. It continues to grow into a beautiful tree which bears fruits eventually, which gives back to the human, the animal, the world, the bird, the insect, the birds, etc. So the Talatu again is a beautiful illustration of how the Mother originated and how she gave to the world the various instructions as to how we respect and follow the journey that we have in wanting to pray to the Mother or to worship the Mother with great amount of devotion, great amount of faith, and great amount of commitment. Again, it is a very holy and very sacred text that is greatly revered by various spiritual leaders. Obviously, it is a very ancient text, but it is given the importance, and it is given that reference to the Divine Mother Mariamman itself. But there are various other references as well. But specifically the Mariamman Thalatu is ensuring that one understands the journey and the origination of the mother and how she instructed the world to conduct itself.
Thank you for that. There's no more further questions. I'll now hand you over back to Kyle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guru, for that. I'm gonna hand you now over to the Satya Dharma team, and then we'll end it here.
Namaskaram, everybody. Firstly, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Guru Deena Governor. Thank you, Guru, for your beautiful discussion and taking the time to answer the questions that were asked. We appreciate it. A sincere thank you to Kyle for hosting today's live session. A special thank you to our moderators for dedicating and support and helping the live run smoothly. Your efforts are truly appreciated. Thank you to everyone who have joined and participated in today's discussion. We hope that the questions that were asked during today's discussion were answered and that you found this discussion insightful. Thank you once again. Dhanyavad. Thank you, Guru. Thank you everyone for joining today's live. We really hope that this brought some insightful information to you all. We will be doing our live more often, and we'll be sharing the times of our lives. Thank you. Kyle, you can take over.
Thank you, everyone. Please do join us for the next one. I think from the next one it will be more insightful and more in-depth. We're trying to get a lot more of our learned gurus to join us. So please make sure to stay tuned to our communications, and then we will meet you guys again for the next one. Thank you so much, guys. Vanakkam. One more thing before I end it, is there anyone that would like to just share something in their own understanding? If there is any other spiritual leaders on this live, if there is any other spiritual mentors here, then you can, if you'd like, before we end the live. If there is anyone, you just can request to join. Okay, Dashni, I don't think there is anyone. We can end the live. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, everyone.